Plaza Walls is an outdoor rotating mural project right in the heart of Oklahoma City.
One of the things I like the most about Plaza Walls is every time I visit it, I see new work by an artist I didn't even know did that kind of work. You know, it makes me kind of search for where's their signature, who are they?
Plaza Walls has really kind of like jump-started this whole like mural movement in Oklahoma City that has been needing to happen forever. We have amazing amounts of like space to work with, to add color to and life to.
It's a creative outlet for people who normally would have a much harder time obtaining public mural projects, or would have to resort to finding their own places to do art which might not be sanctioned by the city. So this is a nice way to bring that artwork to the local community without rubbing the wrong people wrong.
What I love about the Plaza Walls is how it's created a sense of place within the Plaza District. It's really cool how the art and activation here of the alleyways and the blank walls has created a community for people to come together and view art.
So I remember the first time I came out to the Plaza Walls, my roommate had just moved here from Buffalo, and it was her first time in Oklahoma, and she's actually an artist. So I took her back here and she was just mind blown. We probably spent like an hour back here like taking pictures with the walls and hanging out.
The art itself just captivates you and you want to come back more and more. You want to stay here, you want to hang out.
I find it really like accessible to like everybody. Everybody can enjoy it from all walks of life. I mean, how could you not be happy with all like this color and imagination everywhere?
It's brought some artists from all over the country so far that have come to work here in this area.
You wouldn't normally run into a famous New York City artist that is jazzed about coming to Oklahoma City and painting. We're really kind of getting put on the map for street art in Oklahoma City, which is something that we don't usually say.
This type of exposure for street art, it's been a long time coming. Because I mean, you go to Atlanta, New York, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, and it's impossible not to be inspired by those places. It allows for creativity and art to be expressed by local artists and those abroad that maybe wouldn't get the chance otherwise.
I think a lot of people take the project for granted because they believe that you could probably do this anywhere, but with our mural ordinance here in Oklahoma City, this is the only place that you can spontaneously paint without going through the typical process that we would have to do to obtain a mural permit. So we're the only spot in the city where you can show up with a portfolio of previous work and say, hey, this is what I do. Do you have a spot that I can paint? And we can say yes, and you can get started that day.
It's such a gem in the Oklahoma City community. It's all these small local businesses run by Oklahomans, so it's super friendly. A lot of arts-focused places like Lyric Theater, of course, Plaza Walls, DNA Galleries, Paint and Cheers, but also some of the best restaurants you'll find. Really great eclectic boutique shops as well and services.
And we're nestled within a community of residences, which makes it really fun.
It's constantly changing, whether there are like big changes or little changes.
From traveling a lot, it's amazing that a lot of areas where mural festivals are, or just street art is very similar areas in different cities and different countries. So the Plaza Walls has that same energy and that same background, and it seems to be here like kind of a melting pot.
What I love about the Plaza District is that it was founded or rejuvenated based on the idea of art. It became an arts district.
The Plaza District's a really fun area. It's a really cool district. There's a little something here for everybody.
I feel like we've always had something going on, whether it's art or seeing someone else's art or I don't know, supporting our friends who also work in the Plaza District.
So here's the truth on how the Plaza Walls got started. Overnight, murals just popped up. They came out of nowhere, and Chris happened to stumble upon it when he went for his morning coffee. So that's how it began.
Chris and Dylan just got out there and started painting one night, and the public liked it so much that the mayor proclaimed, let's just do this.
The mayor went on vacation to Miami, and he saw Art Basel in Wynwood, and came back and called Chris Kanaly and said, we got to do this here in Oklahoma City. He said, let's get it popping.
A little turtle that was like living in a city full of people, and he wanted to find all the other little turtles. So he went around underground and he started like connecting and just going out of his comfort zone, talking to people, finding people that he could obviously see that he could relate to. All the little turtles got together and they decided to paint on walls so that the people walking around that weren't noticing little turtles would finally notice, like, hey, this has been going on. This is something that, is beautiful and something we should look at.
Well, story has it that the Plaza Walls used to be the stomping grounds for blood-sucking Satanists. And they did a lot of sacrifices and a lot of blood on the walls, lots of blood, just squirrel blood mostly, but I mean it's lots of it. It's insane how much blood we'll get on the walls. But then Chris Kanaly and friends came with some spray cans and baptized us with color, and blood never came back. Toodaloo, squirrels.
So the Plaza Walls actually isn't real. None of this is real. Chris, from my understanding, was just walking by and found a spot in the alley to start on a piece, and got about midway through, started to feel a little woozy and passed out, and this is all just a dream of his. We're just characters that play a part in it. Do you think that we're real?
I mean, look at us. This can't be real.
Oh, how did the Plaza Walls start? Well, it was a dark and stormy night. We came through with spray paint in the middle of the night. We didn't have permission, and we just started tearing up the entire alley. We painted for 2 weeks straight, didn't eat, didn't sleep, and asked for forgiveness afterwards. That's how it started.
Really, it came down to that alley being kind of a negative space. It was dark and dreary and not really somewhere that a normal person would want to walk down.
Plaza Walls started based on a lack of the ability to spontaneously paint murals in Oklahoma City.
There's a lot of people even just hitting us up randomly saying, hey, where can I paint? Where can I paint big? Where can I paint big outside? And there's no place to really do that.
Myself and Dylan Bradway approached Steve Mason, the property owner, with Mason Realty Investors about wanting to paint in the alleyway. And it just snowballed into an idea to invite other artists and kind of grow the alley into a pedestrian thoroughfare outdoor gallery experience, and that kind of gave birth to Plaza Walls. We took that idea to the city.
I was approached by two local street artists, Chris Kanaly and Dylan Bradway, both who have made their careers also as graphic artists.
We didn't have any spaces for traveling artists to come in and immediately paint. There's a lot of artists that travel around the nation, all over the world. And as they get into a town or a city and they want to leave their mark. It's kind of like playing in a band. So they're looking for a gig, they're looking for a wall.
So we started looking at that. How could they respond to the local requirements required to get a permit, but also be able to invite in really great artists? And we started looking at both of their careers also as curators. And we decided that they might actually have the credentials to do that. So they put forth to the Arts Commission for their review a curatorial plan. And being very careful, the Arts Commission said, this does look great. They do have those kinds of qualifications. Why don't we allow this to happen for a pilot period of 1 year?
We debuted the project at the Plaza District Festival of September 2015. And a couple days prior to the festival, we called a bunch of friends and tried to get as many people out as we could. We had a large amount of space to paint. That day was it's so much hard work had gone into leading up to that point that the day that we actually got to paint was amazing. It was an amazing feeling. So be able to paint graffiti art in the public eye like that was awesome. I heard several people walk by and say, I can't believe they're allowing them to do that. I heard people say that's normally illegal. I heard people say, I don't think they have permission to do that. All of those things kind of just reinforce the reason why it's so important for graffiti art to be in the public eye, because we see it in advertising, we see it in everyday life.
And in the end, after the pilot period was over, they were approved for an additional period of 3 years.
We're very thankful for our kind of government officials and boards that have worked with us to get the project where it is today. We owe a lot to Mason Realty investors because they were the first people to really believe in us, first property owners to give us permission for the Plaza Walls, and we're partners in making all of this magic happen. So we owe a great deal of debt to Steve Mason and Mason Realty for being those pioneers and believing in us. They are a continuing sponsor of the project. They provide artist stipends and are now our landlords for our new gallery space.
The Plaza Walls Festival is located on the last Saturday of every September, and it coincides with our biggest event, which is Mural Expo. Mural Expo is the one time of the year where the entire Plaza Walls gets a total revamp. We paint all the large murals in all the alleyways.
So to get all those people in one place, having a lot of fun, I mean, it's really, it's a joyous occasion. It's loud, it's boisterous, it's colorful.
I want to talk to people walking by. I like to see people looking at the art, at other people's art. I like to see the other artists work and watch them work, and because it's beautiful.
A lot of times people don't really appreciate street art, so we're getting a lot of positive feedback.
It feels so cool because you're at the Plaza District Festival and the district is just so alive with energy and everybody's walking around and everybody just seems to be in a good mood, having a good time. And then you hear like a thumping coming from maybe the back alley, and you walk through and you pass Denise Duong's piece on Lyric, and it's like entering Narnia or a whole different world, even though they're right next to each other, these two events.
When people talk to me about being an artist, they find it's like it's intriguing and it's exciting to them because they're not very familiar with it. And so being able to like do this festival and like getting to talk to people and engaging with them, it makes it just makes them more excited about art.
It is a bit of a challenge to work with hundreds of people walking behind you or around you or through you or under your scaffolding or that kind of thing.
Something you like are sad to see end whenever it's over.
And just the amount of artists that kind of pack in here and end up lending a hand to each other. Like you give someone your step stool if they need it, or they pass on some paint to you if you need it. And it's very interesting to just all be doing the same thing in your own way, and then it creates this sense of connection and community between all of you. And without the Plaza Expo, I mean, I don't think we would get that same energy.
I think everybody should come to the Plaza Walls because there is just an amazing amount of talent to be experienced out here, and it's a time that you can actually, because you see public art and the mystery behind like the public art is like, who did this? This is amazing, and you can match a face to like the imagery and create your own stories and ask them questions, and so it's a great event to go to.
There are several ways that Plaza Walls have changed the community. When we first went through the public process, the police department had said they were a little worried that it might actually attract more graffiti and vandalism in the area. And what we found out after about 3 months was that it actually lessened and pretty much became non-existent.
As a part of our partnership with the Google Cultural Institute, the Oklahoma Mural Syndicate emphasizes the need for advocacy and education of art throughout the community.
Just bringing these artists together, bringing nationally renowned artists to Oklahoma City, it's really put us on the map as a mural district, and it's heightened how people treat the Plaza District. It's added more awe to it.
People come here all week long, and especially on the weekends, to take family photos, to take graduation photos, selfies. It's literally the best spot to take a selfie in town, I think.
I feel like every community needs something like this for people to, I don't know, be able to have their own outdoor gallery that they can go to.
I see the kids running up to the murals all the time and, you know, touching the characters that are inside the artwork, and just, you can see their imagination just start like unraveling. And that's really, the main focus behind this project is to inspire other people to become creative.
What I've learned from being involved with the Plaza Walls and the Oklahoma Mural Syndicate is how important it is to cultivate relationships with community partners. Without our community partners, none of this would have been possible. Partners such as the Plaza District, local artists, city government, all of those relationships have been necessary in order for us to implement a project like this. Murals within the Plaza Walls rotate throughout the year. The large walls run for anywhere between 3 to 6 months. The alleyways get a complete revamp during Mural Expo. However, various components of the alley changes throughout the year, and it's really our space to create the most spontaneous art.
I feel like it creates an urgency for the artwork. It creates an urgency for creativity and like fresh ideas. It might not be what you would expect to see. There's a lot of people that want to see some of the bigger pieces, especially, stay up a lot longer. But in my mind, it keeps the project fresh at all times, really.
It's on a blank canvas. It's got structure and different parts to it. And so what is this artist gonna do with it? Who knows what the next artist will do with that payphone?
It's humbling. It teaches you to do your best in a small amount of time. That's one of the aspects of street art. That's the nature of it. Everything is temporary. We're temporary.
These days, as a street artist, you know that space is limited, again, and you have to work within the guidelines. You have to accept that. And you hope a lot of people come out, share that experience.
It's not devastating to watch it go down. It's exciting to see what's going to go up.
Yeah, it's definitely bittersweet when you feel an attachment to your work and then you know that it's only going to be up for a limited amount of time, but it's also kind of the fun of it too.
I love the temporary nature of the Plaza Walls. Here at the city, a lot of the work that I do with the 1% for art becomes kind of a permanent fixture. So it's really exciting when the project is installed. It's exciting for a period of a few years, but then it stays there and something new comes along. People are really attracted to the changing nature of Plaza Alley Walls.
My advice to other artists, first-time artists in Plaza Walls, would to be flexible, because you never know what kind of texture or like things you're working with.
Don't be afraid to go large, and don't be afraid to ask for help. There's plenty of people around the city that'd be totally willing to help somebody put together a project.
Whatever the site is, to look at how people are going to view it, how they're going to approach it. And in Plaza Walls, people are walking through it. So it allows you to paint a different kind of mural, one with a lot more detail, one that's a lot more vibrant than you would on a large wall with traffic, like vehicle traffic.
Practice every single day. You should be painting every single day. This is your work, this is you, and have fun.
I wouldn't hold back. I mean, you're getting a chance to put up a piece that somebody trusts you enough to not ask you what you're doing before you put it up, and so I would just go for it.
There's a lot of people that now want to paint at Plaza Walls. A lot of requests, there's like hundreds now. So it's very hard for the organizers to really pick from so many artists, because they can only pick from 30 to 50 artists at a time to paint. I say be patient, you'll get your turn, keep working at your craft, and come out, support. If you're not picked, come out and support the event anyway, and talk to a lot of the artists that are painting, get to know how they got invited, and you will get your turn.
I remember knocking on businesses' doors, walking in the business, introducing myself, and showing them my artwork and asking them if I could paint the side of their building for free. And that's, what it took for me to get started. I'm not saying that everybody has to go that route, but just being prolific and being tenacious is my best advice.
So my advice to other neighborhoods and districts and parts of the city that want to do something like Plaza Walls is, whatever you do, make sure that it represents your neighborhood, your district, and you do it the best way that you can, which means you invest in great artists with talent, you support them all the way through it, and that you invest in the best materials and prep work, and you do it legally. You get review and permitting.
The thing that surprised me the most about being involved with Oklahoma Mural Syndicate and the Plaza Walls is how deeply it's cherished and loved by our community and visitors from all over the country. Just seeing our social media outreach and how many tags we get for selfies and group pictures, it's truly a destination within our city for art.
Other places, developing community murals is really important. I think there's no reason not to get on it now. I mean, there are unused spaces in everyone's neighborhood, in their cities. Get on it, activate that unused space, and do it for your community. There's not really any reason why you shouldn't.
It only promotes positivity to put art like out in the open, and so I don't know why you wouldn't.
This is something that's bringing vitality back to neighborhoods that we're kind of falling into disrepair in most major cities, and that's what's happening here in this area. It's reinvigorating this neighborhood and bringing attention to a lot of these local businesses because people come to see the artwork, and thus they start engaging with the businesses in the area.
Another thing is to make sure that, if at all possible, pay your artist. It is a huge kick in the back when you want to start a project but then there's no funding for it or no funding to the artist, and if you're expecting artists to do things for free, you might not get the best quality or the best results.
I would just like for everybody to accept and understand how important artistic expression really is and how much of a positive impact it really can have and how much it has, and I've seen it happen in other cities because a lot of kids here don't have a place to go express themselves. They don't want to go home, and they don't have an art class to stay behind at anymore because there aren't any more art classes in a lot of our schools. So, and that is kind of heartbreaking to me because I hung out a lot in the art class.
I would say my advice would be on how to start it would be to contact someone like Chris Kanaly, who has started Plaza Walls, who's also a well-known artist within his city and in the country, and hire him as a consultant. Someone of that stature can lead you in the right way.
Some advice I would give them if they were trying to do that is to not underestimate the amount of time that it takes to run something like this. We spend probably anywhere from 15 to 20 hours a week, so it's almost a part-time job that it takes to run a project like this, especially with the amount of events that we throw. Not only do we manage Plaza Walls, but as the Oklahoma Mural Syndicate, we manage a couple other events around the state.
The future is big for Plaza Walls as long as its curators and its team of people behind it can keep up the good work. You know, work like that, when it's that high quality, happens because of the people behind it and the people that are resourcing it.
I think it's going to keep growing and they're going to run out of walls.
I feel like we're gaining momentum that in the future we'll have plenty of things to work on. I feel like it's only growing and it's only going to get bigger.
So our future is bright. What we see happening is, instead of getting a permit for every single wall, we want a permit that just outlines our district. We want the creative freedom to paint every single wall inside of our district, and that's the future. I really think that we will get there, and pretty soon, hopefully you don't see any bare brick, you don't see any bare concrete in this district. You'll see art everywhere.
I just see it growing. I don't see this stopping. I see this being something we have for many years to come. This is only the beginning, and I'm just so excited to see what's next.
There's a lot of sponsors, and there's a lot of people behind the scenes of Plaza Walls. It's not only Chris Kanaly, there's Brandi Guthery, there's Fee, there's a lot of volunteers, and there's a lot of local businesses that help out as well.
Some of these murals take a lot of energy, time, and money to create. You know, this is something that you plan for, you make a goal, you achieve that goal, and it really is a great example on how to achieve something big in your life, you know?
Having the freedom to do whatever it is that we want to do, and not necessarily get stuck on any sort of design or sticking to a concept. We don't ever use any blueprints for anything that we do, so it's nice to have a place that allows us to do what we do.
Each time we get asked, I feel like it's we're just like stepping it up, and I feel like we owe everything probably to Plaza Walls just because we've had so much time in this alley.
Yeah, we were asked to do Plaza Walls in 2015, and we had actually just had a friend who passed away. So for us, it holds a very special importance. Our very first piece, we came out, and since we didn't have to submit this design or go through any approval process, and they kind of just trusted us with what we were doing, we were able to just on the fly come up with the concept of putting our friend's name up on the wall. And then we just painted all of our large abstracted shapes over that, and it really dictated that piece and how it came out. And the intent for us, I think, was just to know that his name will always be there underneath all of the layers.
Huge thanks to everybody involved with Plaza Walls. Without you guys, I think that, the public art scene would be a different place.
The Plaza Walls makes me feel so cool because I'm such a dork. And so when the mural expo is going on and you're walking around and you actually get to interact with these artists, it made my whole year. And it was just so fun.
I never thought in my lifetime that I would have artists from New York City or San Francisco know about the Oklahoma City street art scene. In order to fund the project, we align ourselves with corporations that want to brag about how much they support public art here in Oklahoma City. And they sponsor murals. Their sponsorships cover artist stipends, supplies, administration costs, and all of that for our nonprofit. So we are always actively looking for partnerships and sponsorships with corporations and any individual that would like to fund public art. We owe a great deal of debt to Steve Mason and Mason Realty for helping make the murals happen and providing artist stipends, specifically for the Indiana Avenue wall.
The Plaza Walls is Oklahoma City's only outdoor curated rotating mural gallery. It's open 24/7, rain or shine, we're never closed. So anytime you pop down to the Plaza District, be sure to drop by the Plaza Walls and see what new murals and artists we're featuring.
We love our community and we love everyone that comes out to the project, and we appreciate everyone's support. So come out and see us.
Take 3.